Hey, sisters! Oh, I don't think I actually ever plugged this, but if you want to suggest an intro for my video, then follow my Twitter! So, I haven't used MS Paint in years, and I never used it with a tablet. So, I wanted to try it out and see if I was actually capable of making something look decent here. And also, I was going for a test drive to see, how the pin pressure works for it. And I wound up accidentally sketching the whole thing out before I recorded. So, uh-oh, that part's missing. I'm unprofessional. Unsubscribe below, turn off notifications, do all that jazz. I gotta say, it's, surprisingly not that bad of a program to use. I mean, it would be harder for an artist that has more of a painting style, but I'm used to cell shading and line art, so it was only, a little struggle. I mean, it wasn't a little struggle, but it was little in comparison to, you know what I'm saying. The hardest part for me, honestly, was not being able to rotate or flip my canvas, or even make the canvas centered on the screen. That was just bothering me the whole time. I never actually dabbled in pixel art before, but I've seen enough of it to kind of guess how to make it work, and I think I did that. But also, like I said, it's been a while since I used MS Paint, and this version of MS Paint is actually way different and better than the MS Paint I used to use. They have all those shapes up at the top part right there that I didn't even touch because I didn't notice them until now. And the only brushes were round and square. They didn't have these fancy low density and various pin shaped deal that you kids got now. Back in my day, we had to fake color gradients. But, yeah, also MS Paint can improve. Who knew? Glow up, as the kids say. Why do I keep talking like this? I'm 19. But yeah, I also wanted to use this video to talk about the stigma that is you can only do good art with fancy, expensive tools. The program I usually use is Paint Tool Say, and when I first got it, it was 30 bucks. And I did actually purchase it with my hands the first time, but computers break a lot, so every time I'd switch computers, I'd find a download and just go with it. But technically, I did pay for it. Technically. And honestly, I kind of prefer what I made in MS Paint here to half of the stuff I make on Say. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. So a lot of people just assume that you need good materials to do good art, or if you use the good stuff. Don't say good stuff, it's 420 today. But if you use the good materials, you'll improve faster or something like that. But that's not exactly how it works. Improvement is something that you do on your own. And like I said before in other videos, it's not the one goal or reason to do art. It's not the main focus of why people should do art. Everyone improves at different paces, and everyone's pace changes. If you're improving slowly now, you might improve much faster later on, or vice versa. But, if you buy a bunch of Copics, you're not gonna suddenly know how to use them. You're gonna have to practice and practice with them over and over again until you get the hang of them. But that's the same with any other markers you use, or pens, or paints, or tablets and programs. For some mediums, the more expensive stuff could be easier to handle in one way, but sometimes not in others. But you don't usually look at the others. Okay, it'll be easier if I do this. For example, here's some pen illustrations that I did for my AP art class 2 years ago. These were for my concentration portfolio, and it got me a score of 5, which is the highest score possible. But the pack of pins that I used for all these were 99 cents. Not 99 cents per pin, 99 cents for the entire packet. I'll put a picture up somewhere. You can find them at the Dollar Tree. You can find them at Walmart. You can find them anywhere. You can probably find them at the Family Dollar. So yeah, I used these cheap-ass pins for a project that I got the highest possible AP score on. Because quality quality is weird. Quality doesn't always mean quality. Cost doesn't mean quality. And the ability to do one thing doesn't mean that the other things don't matter. This is a very hard thing to figure out how to put into words. But what you gotta do is you gotta look at the product by what it can do, not its cost. These pins that I used aren't as vibrant as other pens, and it has gaps in the ink, and it wears out pretty easily. Which would usually be an issue, but it turns out that's pretty good for hatching skin in the way that I was doing for my project. Also, one day I forgot my pen bag at home, which I had these pins in, so I had to borrow my friend's pins. And he had some better quality ones. And it wouldn't look right because the ink was smooth and bright and it worked well for pretty much anything except what I was doing. So when you use something for art, look at what you think the flaws are and see if you can turn it into something interesting for your art. They might be harder to use, but hard doesn't necessarily mean not fun. I mean, this MS Paint drawing took like 5 hours and I was struggling at certain points, but like, I was still having a blast. And this doesn't mean that expensive products are worthless either. But also, you can find good alternatives at a cheaper cost instead of, spending $8 per marker. Ugh. Trust me, I bought $80 worth of Copics when I was like 15, and I wasted them all on blotchy anime art because I didn't take the time to learn how to actually use them. I just hopped in and I was like, what the fuck? I spent so much money, I got the Copics, how am I not loish yet? So yeah, learn to use your materials because what seems like a bad thing at first could wind up being really cool. You could save your money and you could buy these very expensive fancy art tools, but you're not gonna immediately have success with them. And at least in my case, someone who does not have a lot of money, if you're going to buy a product that you don't know how to use, try to find something that's cheaper that works similar to it and test it out. Like if you want to figure out how to use brush pens, get some like cheap ass brush pens and start trying to work with those. Once you're able to make some actual decent art with it, because it'll take a while to get the hang of it, because brush pens are fucking difficult. Then you could step up and get more expensive stuff. Which, I know, it kind of means you're paying for a cheap thing and then also an expensive thing later on down the line. But you'll feel way less guilty about it. And who knows, you might even wind up liking the cheap products more than the expensive product. Like, Copics were fun for me whenever I was using Copics. But then I bought this like $20 pack of 15 giant double-sided markers from Walmart, and they fucking suck. They bleed everywhere. The colors are not what they look like on the actual marker. They're kind of weird. They're not exactly like I would like them, but they're really fun to use, and I actually prefer the like lack of control and the weirdness that kind of comes from them than the like structure of Copic markers. And I don't really need anything that's good for blending with markers, because whenever I want to do something with traditional art that has to do with blending, I don't like how markers blend, even in Copics. So I'd go for something else, like watercolor or something. And the watercolors that I use were like, they were in a packet that I got for Christmas, and those packets at Christmas, they were like $15 for just a bunch of shit. So the watercolor set probably cost like $2 compared to the rest of the stuff in there. So what you gotta do is you just gotta figure out what works for you with what you have. And cost doesn't, you can't like bribe your way to success with a skill that you gotta learn yourself. Cause art can't be taught outside of like the general schematics of like anatomy or just basic structure or perspective or foreshortening or whatever. You can't be taught your own art style and your own way to do art. You gotta learn it yourself. So yeah, products can't teach you to do that either. I don't know. I haven't been able to like think and talk clearly recently. Getting words from my head to my mouth is not working very well. Has not been working very well for a while. So, sorry about how sloppy this video is. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's 420 today, I promise. This is my horrible personality. It has nothing affecting it. But, yeah. Here's the final picture. I was doing this as a one-time experiment, but I might actually play around in MS Paint more often. Final plugs. I got a webcomic. I got a Patreon. I got a coffee. Please give me money. I got a Redbubble. Buy my shit if you want. Thanks for watching. Love you, boos.